Assalamu alaikum. Today on Noran Academy, we discuss the House of Wisdom. If you benefit, please support by subscribing and sharing as a sadaqah.
Okay, just picture this for a second. Imagine a single place where the smartest people on the entire planet all gathered together. But here's the thing, they weren't there for power or to conquer anyone. They were there for one reason and one reason only: knowledge. Now, at a time when so much of the world was kind of slipping into a dark age, losing its own history to war and fire, one civilization was doing the complete opposite. They weren't just saving knowledge, they were actively chasing it, growing it, and sharing it with the world. And this place, it was absolutely real. It was called the House of Wisdom. So, to really get why the House of Wisdom was such a game changer, we have to look at the world it was born into. We need to understand the massive crisis it actually solved. See, before the rise of Islam, all of humanity's knowledge was, it was incredibly fragile and scattered all over the place. Think about it. On one side, you had these amazing achievements from ancient civilizations, right? The philosophy of the Greeks, the mind-bending math from India, the incredible astronomy of the Persians. But all that knowledge, it was like the shattered pieces of a beautiful vase. It was all broken up. You had different languages, making it almost impossible for people to talk to each other. And as empires collapsed, priceless books were just lost, burned, forgotten. We're talking about ideas literally dying out. Honestly, humanity was right on the brink of a total intellectual collapse. The world was crying out for a new way to do things, a way to save what was left, translate it, and actually build on it systematically. And it was right then, in that exact moment of crisis, that a new answer started to come from the heart of the Islamic world. So you have to ask, why? Why did Muslims invest so much in knowledge? Well, the answer comes from the very core of the faith itself. See, the Quran isn't just a list of do's and don'ts. It's a direct invitation to engage with the world around you. It's constantly telling believers, reflect, think, observe the signs of God in the universe. So for them, seeking knowledge wasn't just some hobby or a worldly thing. It was a profound act of worship. And this whole effort, this entire movement, was built on the bedrock principle of Tawheed, the absolute oneness of God. What this taught them was that all true knowledge, no matter what it was, astronomy, medicine, math, it all eventually leads back to that one single divine source. So when these scholars were saving an old book, they weren't just saving paper and ink. To them, it was like preserving a piece of humanity's shared journey toward understanding that ultimate truth. And so, in Abbasid Baghdad, this deep spiritual drive for knowledge was finally given a home. The Muslim leaders at the time made a decision that would literally change the course of history. They founded the House of Wisdom, the Bait el-Hikmah. Now, you've got to understand, this was not just some fancy library. No way. This was arguably the world's first global research center. Think about that. Scholars were actually paid well. Translators were treated like rock stars. Learning became a respected profession. And get this, you had Muslims, Christians, and Jews, Persians, and Arabs, all working side by side. Their shared belief in finding the truth, that's what brought them together. It created unity, not division. And their process, it was brilliant. It was so systematic. They didn't just collect books and let them gather dust. Nope. First, they went out and preserved whatever ancient wisdom they could find. Step 2, they translated it. Greek philosophy into Arabic, Indian math into their system. But then, and this part is absolutely crucial, they didn't just blindly accept it. They corrected the mistakes they found. They tested the old ideas. And only then, as a final step, did they use that corrected solid foundation as a launchpad to innovate and create something new. And that process, it unleashed a tidal wave of discovery. It was right there inside the House of Wisdom that you had geniuses like Al-Khwarizmi. He took those Indian numerals and Greek geometry concepts, put them together, and developed something the world had never seen before: algebra. From his term, al-jabr. See? This wasn't just copying and pasting. This was taking old knowledge and forging a completely new science from it. The impact of this was, it was monumental. And what happened in Baghdad definitely didn't stay in Baghdad. This incredible body of knowledge started to flow. It moved through Arabic translations into El-Andalus, into Islamic Spain, and from there it began to seep into a Europe that was, frankly, intellectually asleep. It provided the very spark, the fuel that would eventually ignite the entire Renaissance. Let's be really clear about this. The legacy is undeniable. Without the work that was done at the House of Wisdom, that painstaking work of saving, translating, and innovating, our world would look completely different. The very foundations of modern science, the idea of organized research, even the concept of a university, none of it would exist as we know it. It's not an exaggeration to say this one institution changed the entire direction of human civilization.
Okay, so that's a great story from 1,000 years ago. But what does it have to do with us? Right here, right now, with our smartphones and internet? The answer is everything. You see, we live in an age of endless information. But that's not the same as wisdom, is it? Our ancestors, they didn't just passively scroll through knowledge on a screen. They crossed deserts for it. They sailed across oceans for it. They sacrificed their time, their wealth, everything for it. They built massive, beautiful libraries, not a list of excuses. And they debated ideas with intellectual rigor, not attacking each other's identities. Those scholars back in the House of Wisdom, they understood a fundamental truth that I think we're in real danger of forgetting today. And it's this: knowledge without a higher purpose is just noise. It's just data. And on the other side, worship without a solid foundation of learning can become hollow. Islam teaches us to bring those two worlds together. When you take knowledge and you add purpose, you get wisdom. And when you take worship and add learning, you get real spiritual depth. When you look at it, the entire story of the House of Wisdom is just powerful historical proof of a divine principle. And that principle is this: when a community truly honors knowledge, when they sacrifice for it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raises that community. He elevates their status, their impact, and their legacy for the whole world to see. You know, the people who built that incredible place, they didn't look out of the world and complain, oh, everyone's against us. No, they looked at the world and said, let's build something that all of humanity needs. So their story, their history, it leaves us with a really powerful, really personal question. If they, with so much less than what we have, managed to save the knowledge of the entire world, then what will you build right now with everything you have at your fingertips? Presented and created by Norn Studio.